Greetings, everyone. It's another episode of Horror Hangouts. I'm Josh, your host, and tonight I have with me a independent filmmaker by the name of Kyle Prescott. How are you doing tonight, Kyle?
Doing good. How about yourself? Thanks for having me. Of
It's my pleasure to have you on. Thanks for being on.
course.
So I guess we'll get right to it. Obviously, you're into making horror films. So where did your love of horror begin?
Oh gosh. Probably we're going early. Probably my favorite cartoon growing up was Scooby Doo, you know. Go to the earliest stages, they always went on had a horror vibe to it. I'd say it started with that, and then I don't know what age I was. I was way too young. My mom showed me Jaws, and still scarred me for life, but it's that's where it all started, I would imagine.
Yeah, I know to this day I won't go into the ocean because of that movie.
Pretty much a lot of people, yeah.
But my whole thing is they stay in their water or they don't come up on my land, I won't go in their water. That's my whole thing with sharks and that type of thing. But
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah. But it's interesting too. You mentioned like animated cartoons being because, for me, I remember obviously Scooby Doo as well, but I remember the old Disney movie, the was it Ichabod and the Headless Horseman, like the animated version of Sleepy Hollow. That's kind of also kind of got me started
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That and the old black and white Universal monster movies.
Oh, the classics. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dracula was like the first horror movie I actually ever watched, and I was like five at the time. But
Yeah, I was either 5 or 6 when my mom showed me Jaws because it was one
oh
of her
wow,
favorite movies. And yeah,
I think I was about 12 or 13 when I watched that for the first time.
yeah, I was too young.
So, what interests you in getting into filmmaking?
Obviously, I love horror movies, and I'm in Los Angeles now. I didn't grow up here, but I moved here about 7, 8 years ago. My cousins, they're into film and stuff, and I help them music videos and stuff like that, shooting short films, and that just kind of got the ball rolling. It's like, what if I make my own horror movie? And that's really what got the ball rolling on that. So
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I'm sure that's a lot of work getting that whole thing started. What was like the process of getting this most recent project going? How does the whole process work?
yeah, it did take a while. It's always been in my mind that I wanted to shoot a witch movie. Um, but life gets in the way sometimes, and I just uh, finally finally pulled the trigger. The whole script. It didn't take me that long to write it, and then we shot it in 2 days. So, but yeah, that's it. It's been a while, but finally got it going, and got a couple more projects this year that I have lined up. So finally getting it going.
Good. So do you have like are there any any horror directors that you kind of look up to that you kind of I don't want to say idolize, but some of your favorite directors that maybe inspire you a little bit when directing a movie?
Um, a couple of them, yeah. I love the old John Carpenter stuff. Um, Definitely James Wan. It's like The Conjuring is one of my favorite movies. Like, it's such a simple story. Family moves into a new house, bad stuff
Mm-hmm.
happens, but it's just done so well.
Right.
And definitely David Sandberg. He's kind of what I tell people is is my dream, is what happened to him. He
Mm-hmm.
put out a short film that was like 2 minutes long. It blew up. James Wan saw it on YouTube, got into contact with him, and said, "Hey, let's turn this into a full motion picture."
Oh wow.
And now that's all he does is direct movies for a living. And it's like that's literally what I want to happen to me. And I think in December I actually ran into David Sandberg,
Awesome.
and he's following my production page on Instagram. So it's crazy. So definitely those directors for sure.
Awesome. So what can you tell us about this most recent movie that you've filmed?
I mean, the elevator pitch
Mm-hmm.
is guy goes camping to get a break from life. He goes way out in the woods and, sets up camp near where a witch does her rituals and bad stuff happens. So,
and what's the name of that movie?
the Bodega Bay Witch.
The Bodega Bay Witch. And
Yeah.
where is that going to be available to view? Will that be on
Uh
YouTube?
yeah, it's on YouTube now. Just search the Bodega Bay Witch. The YouTube channel is Creepy House Pictures.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll definitely put the links there in the video description for that. So, what do you find to be the most well, you talked about this being kind of a witch movie. Are there other like I guess witch movies that you're a big fan of? You mentioned The Conjuring. Have you watched movies like say The Witch or any of those other movies that have to do with witchcraft?
Um, I mean, I have seen them. I've seen The Witch. I've seen, of course, Blair Witch.
Mhm.
But those movies kind of inspired me because you don't really see the witch.
Right.
So I wanted to make this one to actually, you don't see the witch a ton, but you actually see it, you
Just
know,
enough.
just enough. Yeah. And yeah, I would say those movies inspired me to like, I want to make a witch movie where you actually see it. So, yeah.
Excellent. So, what do you find as being the most difficult hurdle in making a movie?
Getting started. Anyone can write up a story, or, a lot of people, especially here in LA, say, "Oh, I want to make movies too," but they just don't do it. And, you just got to get started. And it took me a while to finally get it going. And now it's just excited me so much. Like I already want to shoot the next two already, and just keep that ball rolling. So I would say that's the hardest thing, is just get out there and do it. We have such great cameras on our iPhones. you
hmm
know Make something short, shoot it with your friends. You never know what's going to happen. So
I was did you obviously you just mentioned you use pretty much your I'm assuming your iPhone to film everything. Um, you just for finding the actors in the movie, was it just friends of yours that you got together to say, "Hey, you want to play this role in this movie I'm making?"
so we did not shoot it on an iPhone.
Okay.
One of my cousins who lives down here as well, he does uh, music videos, content creating. Like, he has all the equipment.
Okay.
And then his brother, who's also my cousin, he's the main actor in the movie. And then the who played the witch, he's a family friend. So it was, I already have the crew and actors, and I just had to write something and get it going. So it was pretty easy in that aspect.
Excellent. So did you have to like are there like any like did you have to do any like practical effects or makeup effects for this movie?
Um, Really, the only effects is the mask, the
Mm-hmm.
mask right behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole wardrobe there. Um, yeah, I just that mask was pretty expensive. and then just did eyeliner around her eyes and lips.
Hmm.
But makeup wise, that was pretty much it.
Awesome. So, we discussed maybe the most difficult hurdle, but what's the most like rewarding part of making a film?
I loved the process of when we were shooting. Um, we shot it all. Actually, the opening shots were actually in Bodega Bay, which
Uh-huh.
is about an hour and a half north of San Francisco, and then the rest of it was all on my grandmother's property.
Oh, wow.
So it was just really fun because I grew up running around those woods, and then however many years later, I'm making a movie out there. So that was just the whole experience was really cool. Um, but the most rewarding thing, definitely like yesterday and today, a couple days after I've released it, just the positive, comments that people are leaving, like that's just making it really rewarding for me, because I wrote it and shot it and done all this editing, like, it's nothing really to me, but seeing how other people react, like it's just a good feeling. So,
Oh, I bet too. It's because this is something that it's almost like you're giving birth to something here, and to see it make it all the way through, and then for people to appreciate it, really great. When I know when I got a review on on my first book, it's like, oh, well, I actually liked it, or I just have somebody who actually liked it. So that's always a great feeling to have.
oh yeah, and it's just motivating me that much more. So, just to get the other projects going.
So, what are some of the other projects you're thinking about working on?
The next one I'm gonna do is a really short film. It'll probably be 2 minutes long. It's gonna be called Back House.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically kind of be a Airbnb from hell. So
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that could be a lot of fun there. Almost
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like, oh, what was that movie from a couple of years ago? Justin Long was in it, and I'm blanking on the name of the
Oh
movie. And Bill Skarsgård.
yes, yes, yeah.
That's
If he's in a horror movie, it's always gonna be bad. So
yes for him. Yeah. And
yeah.
I'm sure the audience, when they listen, are going to be screaming at us because I know it starts with a B. I can remember that part of it. I just can't think of the name of the movie now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It,
But that's definitely a B and B going wrong, or a Airbnb going wrong. Definitely.
yeah. There was another one. It was like on the Oregon coast. This couple went and stayed there. I can't remember the name of that one either, but that one was pretty good, and it was another Airbnb type situation. So,
Awesome. So sounds like you want to try to. Are you like going to think about horror has so many different subgenres to it? Do you see yourself trying a little bit of everything as going forward with some of your other projects?
uh, yeah, I'm big into like the visual horror.
Hmm.
I know some people like the psychological, but I like visual, and also like, don't not reveal what it is right away. Like, how long into the movie till you first see the shark in Jaws,
Right.
and especially not knowing what it is, like with the first Quiet Place. Like,
Hmm.
I think they showed that creature way too quickly. Like, had they not shown it in like one of the
Right.
opening scenes, and then you hear it crawling on the roof, you'd be like, what the hell is that? But you kind of already knew, so that's definitely the style that I'm gonna go with. So,
That's good. Yeah, I think sometimes it's good to kind of blend the two a little bit, blend a
oh
little
yeah,
bit of psychological with the visual, so that way I mean, you can play with people's senses to a point and then show them, and just to see if it's what they think it's going or what they think it's going to be. It's kind of like the big mystery in a way.
Oh yeah, and then their just imagination runs wild. So that's the fun with it.
So, how long have you been? Now, is this your first film that you've shot, or have you done others prior to this?
I mean, I've helped out on other
Hmm.
movies, but this is like my first solo project.
Okay,
So yeah.
terrific. So, what I guess one thing I'll ask here is, do you have like any favorite horror movies or horror franchises that you're really a big fan of? Obviously, The Conjuring sounds like that's one that you definitely like.
Yeah, The Conjuring, the original Fog,
Mm,
um, the original Halloween. Oh gosh, there's just so many. Um, I even enjoy the Dead Snow movies. I don't know if you've seen those.
I
Those
have
are a good
not.
time. Those are a good time. Um, the Alien franchise.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, not much that comes from Blumhouse though. As
Well,
of recent.
yeah, there's something we'll definitely agree on there. And it's like they started off so well, and then
Yep.
it seems like in recent years it's just about doing cash grabs. It seems like let's just do a reboot of this, or let's do a legacy sequel of that, and they haven't really turned out to be all that great. I mean, opinions vary, but from my standpoint, I'm like, you guys need to get back to doing what you did before, I think.
Oh yeah, like the first new Halloween that they did, like that was at least a fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, but kills and ends. It was just like, what are we doing? Oh, and then Exorcist and was it Firestarter? Like oh, what?
Or
Oh, just
or their version of Black Christmas.
yep. I mean, I have the AMC pass, so like I go to really any horror movie that comes in theaters, and
Right.
I just see them come across the screen. It's like, oh boy, here we go. So
The Black Phone was good though. I did enjoy that one that came out a couple of
yeah,
years ago. When they actually do something original, then they're okay. But it's when they try to do a sequel to something or a remake or a reboot, it's when they kind of flop a little bit for whatever reasons.
yeah. Was it Night Swim that came out not that long ago? That was oh boy.
I
Ay.
haven't seen it. I get real picky about what I'm going to see because I already have like a list a mile long of movies to watch that I haven't seen. So it's like,
Oh sure.
and if it's like, I just don't think I'm going to really like this one. So I'm just going to pick this one instead and go that way with it.
Yeah, don't waste your time with that one.
Yeah, I've been mixed review. I've only seen maybe a couple people that actually kind of liked it. And even then, it was like, it was okay, but nothing great. It
Yeah,
was just kind of like forgettable, really.
that's the way I thought about Imaginary that came out
Hmm.
not that long ago. Like it wasn't good, but it had some good parts and it was decent, had a good twist, but yeah, still not great.
Have you seen Late Night with the Devil yet?
I did, yes.
What'd you think of it?
It was definitely different. I loved the ending.
Hmm.
Like everyone was just like, "Oh fuck!" Like, "Oh, that was the ending was just wild." But I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I just watched that. What was it, Saturday evening? And I actually had to go back and rewatch the ending a little bit. I went back like the last maybe 15 minutes of the movie because it kind of threw me off a little bit. I knew they were building towards some sort of plot twist, and I knew it would have had something to do with that organization that he was a part of. So I had to like watch it a second time to figure it out a little bit better. But yeah, it's definitely a unique movie for sure. And you don't, that's what I kind of like seeing as something that's different, not doing the same old that we've already seen a
Oh
thousand
yeah,
times.
yeah. How many exorcism movies have we seen? It's like, something new and different. Like I'm always down for that. So
Well, a lot of the movies that we mentioned, like Alien, no one had ever quite done a movie like that. No one had quite done a movie like John Carpenter's The Thing is another good one. Or
oh
in
yeah.
and The Fog is just like it's basically the ultimate ghost story movie, I think, that you could possibly make. It had hit all the right. And I just rewatched that last week, but yeah, it was just kind of hits all the marks that you would want out of that type of movie where you have once again you have certain psychological elements of it, but you see just enough of those ghosts to kind of creep you out a little bit.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is about that movie, but I just love it. Like I grew up probably an hour and a half away from where they filmed that. I know one of my
Oh wow.
birthdays, like 3 or 4 years ago, went out to the lighthouse. Went to like basically every exterior filming location. That's one of my hobbies. I love to go to filming locations and just went to a bunch of those. And then I got that poster signed at the Halloween 45th anniversary convention.
Oh, you went to that? That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I got Adrian Barbeau. I got quite a few people on there. So yeah, I just definitely a fan of that movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with Carpenter in last episode I did, we had a little bit of a group discussion. John Carpenter came up and he just kind of like nailed it from one movie to the next and he was hitting all kinds of different subgenres and
Oh yeah,
he just had a hell of a run. I mean, now, there might be a couple of movies people will say like The Ward is not a very good movie, but I think a lot of that had something to do with the studio interference. And Ghost of Mars is often for most people, but I think it's still an enjoyable movie and enjoyable enough anyway.
oh yeah. I mean, obviously Halloween started his career, and then
Hmm.
yeah, The Thing and Fog and Christine and They Live. I mean, yeah, he was just one after another. He was cranking them out.
And what's amazing, a lot of those movies flopped in the theaters, and it wasn't until a few years later that they became big hits, or
Yeah.
just through video rental, got that cult following. Definitely with The Thing, and I don't think Escape from New York did particularly well either in its first run, but
Oh yeah. And I know the thing that freaked like a lot of people out when it came out, and now it's just huge. People love it.
oh yeah, and it's probably what do I rank that one? My fourth favorite of all time as far as horror movies go. So yeah, I showed a friend of mine that he had never seen it. He had seen the remake or the newest one, and I'm like,
Right.
you need to watch this. And he's like, oh yeah, this is this is way better.
Yeah, they recently at AMC, that was like 4 or 5 months ago, they put that back in theaters for some anniversary or something. I hadn't seen it in a few years, so I went and
Hmm.
saw it. It's like, this is amazing. Like, and for how old it is, like, oh, it's just so well done.
Yeah, that's what amazes me. Yeah, sometimes you watch some of these movies from the 70s and 80s, and yeah, maybe the hairstyle or this or that might you know, take you out a little bit, but for the most part, those movies still hold up pretty well today, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, even the first Alien,
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing that on Saturday for their 45th anniversary, and that still looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What do you think about the new one that'll be coming out later this summer, Alien Romulus?
I'm a guy that when I know I'm gonna see a movie in theaters, I watch no trailers.
The same way.
So I don't wanna see anything. I don't want to know anything. I just want to sit down with a big tub of popcorn and and watch the show. So
And yeah, exactly. That's the way I am anymore. I've been like looking forward to seeing Maxine. And I guess they
oh yeah,
just released the trailer there, and I'm like, nope, I don't want to see it. I don't want to know anything about it. I mean, I know a little bit already that's going to take place in the 80s and so forth, but outside of that, I don't really want to know anything more about that till it
oh
comes
yeah.
out.
I usually show up like 10 minutes before the movie actually starts, and like, yeah, trailer comes up, I know what it is, and just nope, I don't even watch it. So
Very good. Yeah, Alien. It'll be see what they do with it. I guess it's supposed to. Well, I won't say anything more. I just know it takes place somewhere between the first and second one. Is all I know about it, and
okay,
that's all. Any more I want to. The prequel Prometheus I kind of liked. Like a lot of people are a little bit on the fence on that. Alien Covenant was okay, so I'm see how if this one hits the mark this time because I wasn't a big fan of Alien Resurrection. I mean, it started off good for me, and then it just got a little bit too crazy at the end.
yeah, Prometheus was definitely like it was like a just building up the hype
Mm-hmm.
for the next couple ones, and yeah, Covenant was it was okay, it had some cool scenes, but yeah, hopefully this one hits because I love, especially the first two originals are just
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
Yeah, and two
But
very different type of movies too, because Aliens basically a horror movie that's set in space, and Aliens is more of a sci-fi action thriller. I think a little bit more. It leaned more into that.
yeah,
Um,
even the original Alien, you could say that's a slasher.
oh,
It's one thing hunting
mm-hmm.
down these, picking them off one by one.
Oh, definitely, and I'd say the same thing about the original Terminator too. That's
Oh
sl-
yeah,
uh, and I never really thought about it till a few years ago. I was watching someone on YouTube go. He says, this is really a sci-fi slasher," and I never thought about it. I'm like, yeah, it is. I mean, you watch a movie like Halloween or a Friday the 13th movie, and then put on Terminator, and it just follows all the same,
oh yeah,
hits all the same
100%.
marks as that movie does.
Oh yeah, yeah, another great one. Oh
And I kind of wish when they were doing these later sequels that they would have gotten back to that formula a little bit, because the second one was what it was, a huge blockbuster action film. The third one, maybe they try to reel it back a little bit, but then after that, it just kind of, I think the movies became a character of themselves almost.
oh yeah, and it's an established franchise. People know the name, so they just make a sequel. It's gonna make money.
Right.
So
Well, excellent. So the movie now that's available on Creepy House Pictures.
yeah, Creepy House Pictures YouTube channel. Just search the Bodega Bay Witch. It's right there. It's about 9-10 minutes. Yeah.
All right, the Bodega Bay Witch. I encourage everyone to give that a click. I'll put that down in the comment section. And Kyle, well, thanks for coming on tonight, and look forward to seeing more projects in the future. Where can people find you on social media?
Creepy House Pictures on Instagram, and we're right there. All my upcoming projects, I'll give updates on there, and yeah.
Okay, well, Kyle, thanks for coming on, and we will talk later. And good luck.
No, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.